How long does it take to heal after narcissistic abuse? That's a great question. I know a lot of us have it. And unfortunately, there's no simple recipe. There's no answer to that. And I know that a lot of people have these theories that you take the length of the relationship and then you divide it by half, and that is your healing time. I don't believe in that at all. I think it's a great theory, but I don't think that there's any actual fact to that. And when it comes to narcissistic abuse, it's a whole different ballgame altogether. It is nothing like a typical breakup in a healthy, normal relationship. So you need to do work. You're not going to miraculously heal. You're not going to wake up one day and be like, I'm healed. Yay, I'm not thinking about him anymore. It's not going to happen without work. So the number one ingredient is time. It takes time to heal. You can't rush it. It does take time for you to break that bond from the narcissist. You need to be no contact to break that bond. So there are some things you can do to speed up the time. It's not going to happen overnight. It's not going to happen in a couple of weeks, likely not even a couple of months. But it's not dire. You're not looking at years and years of torture ahead of you either. If you study narcissism and you learn how the narcissist operates, you're going to be able to alleviate a lot of the self-blame and the anxiety you hold on to as in yourself. You're gonna question yourself whether you did everything you could do in the relationship and whether you did something wrong or whether you should have even left it. Maybe you should have given it another chance. These are all very normal questions, and you should ask yourself these questions. But you have to be honest with the answers. You know, very likely you know, and you tried for a long time with the narcissist to make it work. He gave you lots of options to change yourself, to make things better, which you likely tried, and still it didn't work. So what else is there to do? When somebody is blaming you for 100% of the problems in the relationship, that's a major red flag. That's not normal. So that's one thing. And when you accept that blame and you try to change yourself to be a better wife or to be a better girlfriend, to be more attentive, to give him more sex, to cut off people out of your life, friends, male friends, family, when you do all these things and he still treats you like shit, what else is there to do other than leave? So you need to get into that headspace and realize that there was nothing you could do to change it, first and foremost. So that's acceptance. And then you have to go through a grieving period. You have just lost somebody you love. Whether they were a bad person or not is irrelevant. The fact of the matter is you are suffering a loss. You have to grieve that loss. You have to mourn the breakup. And that takes time. That's not something you can rush. Those are feelings you have to feel. That is time that has to pass. Those are tears you have to shed, and that's part of the process. So don't stop yourself from feeling. Let yourself feel those emotions. Go through the pain, cry, hurt, vent to your close friends, and go through that whole breakup process. Then you need to start healing. Once you accept that it's over and once you mourn the relationship, while you're doing it, you need to start educating yourself. You need to understand that you were being abused. You need to learn what emotional abuse is. You need to learn why you deserve better than that. You need to rebuild the self-esteem that the narcissist took from you, because they did. And you need to love yourself again. You need to know that you are a valuable, lovable, wonderful person. And so many people in this world are going to be so privileged and lucky to have you as their girlfriend or boyfriend. This goes both ways, of course. We all know narcissists can both be men and women. So you need to love yourself again and respect yourself and remember, and that takes time too, because you got to get all that shit that the narcissist filled your head with out. And you've got to be no contact to keep it out, because if he is still in your life and he's feeding you these little frickin' nuggets of bullshit, it's not going to work. So no contact is key. You've heard it 1,000 times. I know you have, because I say it in every single video. I know everybody else on YouTube who talks about narcissism tells you you have to go no contact. And it is true. You have to break the bond. You have to get them out of your head. That's when you'll start healing. So if you're looking for an answer on how long it takes to heal, I can't give you a definitive answer. But I can tell you, you can control how fast it happens with what you do. Doing the work. No contact is work. No contact is not easy. No contact is very difficult. It is hard to do. But it gets easier. It's hard in the beginning. That first beginning is the hardest. Those first few days are hell. They are complete torture. You're used to talking to this person every day, several times a day. It is a habit you have to break, and it's hard, but you can do it. And the more you do it, the more empowered you will be. You will start feeling better, you will start feeling healthier, and the fog will lift. You'll start healing, and that is bringing you closer to getting over them and moving on with your life. The other things you can do, as far as like educating yourself and understanding what happened to you, understanding how to heal, is buy a couple books. I've recommended some books on my page. 2 fantastic books, both by the same author, are Psychopath Free and Whole Again. They're both written by Jackson Mackenzie, who went through an abusive relationship, and he talks about emotional abuse relating to whether they're a narcissist or a psychopath, a sociopath. It doesn't even really matter what the label is. The outcome is always the same. The abuse you suffered is very similar across the board. It's very relatable, and it makes you feel like you're not crazy, because when we are in these relationships, we feel like we're going crazy. They are so manipulative. It really gets in your head, and it's important that you get that out of your head. So these books, reading a few self-help books and these 2 books in particular, they will help to do that. And you can make notes in them, and that's a great tool too. Another thing that I suggest is therapy. Go to therapy. There is no stigma. There is no negative to go see a therapist and talk. They can really guide you in that healing process and recovery as well. Another option, which again I highly recommend, is group therapy. If you live in a big city, you are definitely going to find this. Maybe some smaller towns might be a little bit more difficult to find, but you can find things online. There's always the internet, there's Facebook groups, there's online support groups. But if you can, if your city has something available to you where it's a physical meeting where you go sit with men and women, or women only, who have suffered the same type of abuse as you can talk about it with these people. It's a very safe, controlled environment. You are not judged. They've all gone through the same thing as you, so you can all relate to each other. That is amazingly healing. If you focus on your ex, if you refuse to let go and accept that the breakup is over, it's going to take you much, much longer, and it's going to be much more painful. And that's what I don't want to see. I don't want to see anyone in pain. The sooner you accept it and the sooner you decide, and it's just a mental flip you have to do on your own. You have to decide it is over. You don't want this anymore, you don't deserve this anymore, and you're going to move on with your life, you're going to start seeing the changes happen. I love you all, my lovely warriors.